Jai Hind everyone. Myself Dr. Inderjit Kaur, working as professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. In this series of video lectures, we will be learning about software engineering. So this lecture is dedicated for software testing. As we are doing as per the AKTU syllabus of BCA 601, 6th semester BTech software engineering subject. So it is the fourth unit, that is software testing. So in this we will be starting with the testing objectives. What are the different types of testing, means what is unit testing, what is integration testing, what is acceptance testing, what is regression testing, why it is required, and what is the functionality and performance for doing the testing, what are the different approaches for doing the testing, just like top down and bottom up, why are drivers and stubs required, how we can perform the structural testing, what is alpha testing, what is beta testing, how we are getting the reviews from the customers, and the walkthrough, then code inspection, and what is the compliance with design and coding standards while doing the testing. So if we say what is testing, it is related to CO4 basically. It is, we can say it is a set of activities that should be planned in advance and they should be performed very systematically. So I may be having a template for performing the software testing that will say it is having a series of steps that will be doing in a particular way, and then the characteristics for performing the testing is we should perform the effective testing. The software team must do critically the reviews for their designed process so that errors can be eliminated before testing starts. Even then, if there are errors coming, then the testing team is being advised. Then the main objective for performing testing is to test the code whereby there can be the high probability for discovering all the errors. The objectives, they will tell ki the software functions, they are working accordingly as per SRS that was being planned, means all the functions, all the features, all the facilities, and the software is giving performance as per SRS. So I will say ki testing, it is a process of executing a program with the intent of finding an error, and a good test case will be that has higher probability of finding the undiscovered errors. There can be many errors, there can be many faults. So programming is human effort intensive, so there can be chances of errors. As per as IEEE standard 1044 that came in 1993, we defined the terms errors and faults as synonyms. But then when revision of standard 1044 in the year 2010, they told ki there are some distinctions between errors and faults. To support more expressive communications, they have distinguished between errors and faults. So we will define first the different terminologies, that is, what is the difference between error, mistake, bug, fault, and failure. We will start with the error. People, as a human being, I make error. So the synonym for error is mistake. That is a very good synonym for making the error is mistake. I will say ki I have committed this mistake, please pardon me, right? So this, there may be a syntactical error if I am writing a program, or a misunderstanding of specifications if I am talking about SRS terms, software terms. So sometimes there may be logical errors. So when the developer is making the mistakes while doing the coding, we will say ki these mistakes are bugs. So now it is very much clear ki what is error, what is mistake, and what is bug. So when I am having a logical error in terms of programming, when I am doing the coding, I will say ki these mistakes, they are the bugs. Now what is coming down to the fault? Fault is the representation of the error where this representation is being taken by expressing in the form of DFDs or in the form of making ER diagrams or source code. So defect will be the good synonym for fault. Then I will say ki failure. Failure occurs when a faulty program executes. That means when a fault executes, there will come a failure. A particular fault they can give many different failures or a single failure depending upon the type of fault and the way in which it was being executed. So here we will say ki I have given certain specifications in the form of SRS was being finalized. So I move on to the design, then I move on to the code. These are the steps in which we write the software. So here there can be, while writing the specification, there can be some fault, defect or bug that may lead to failure. These were being, they are being coming when I am doing a error or mistake. So when first error or mistake will come, then it will lead to fault, defect or bug, and the faulty program when it is being executed, it will result into failure. So these are the kind of failures coming at the specifications. Then when I have moved on to the design phase, when I was having these errors or mistakes being executed, being mistakenly written in the specifications, then at the design phase, they have committed to the failures. Same is the step for while doing the coding. Now, even experienced programmers, they can make errors. It is not so that I am being experienced one, so there are less chances of making the errors. It can be the case that I may be new to that programming language. So if we say that average 50 bugs per 1000 lines of code, there can be errors. So if I take the example of tested software companies, there can be 1 bug per 1000 lines of source code. So there are 60% specifications per design bugs can be there, and 40% of them they are being found during implementation. 60% these bugs they are found during when I am writing when I have written the specification and then I am moving to the design phase, and 40% they are found during implementation. Now the question comes ki how I should reduce these bugs. I should review my code, I should test my code, I should write a formal specification, and then I should do the verification, and then it can be done by using the various development processes. Then how can I test the code? Suppose I have written a program as it was behaving as expected, then I will give the input test data to the program and then I will observe the output. This is the way how can I test my program. There are different testing facts. That means suppose I am consuming the largest effort, this process software testing, we can do the masters in this subject only, in this branch only. This consumes a lot of effort among all the development activities that are being defined during SDLC. So I require largest manpower among all the roles during this software testing phase, and it implies more job opportunities. Then I will say, if I am talking about development effort, so about 50% of my development effort goes into the software testing. Testing, it is more complex, I will say, because there can be larger or complex programs, there can be newer programming paradigms, there can be newer testing techniques, or I may move on to the testing automation. If I define in the terms of number of bugs and times, then I will say ki, suppose I am writing the different run test cases. So, with respect to time, the bugs will be reduced. Then comes, how can I define a test case and a test suite? Obviously, when I am doing the software testing, I will run different test cases, and how I am writing those test cases and how I am defining the test suite. So test and test case, they are oftenly used interchangeably. In practice, I can say that they are synonyms. The set of test cases, I will say that they are called the test suites. So any combination of test cases that are being generated, that are being used by the tester, they will be known as test suite. Suppose this is the template. Here I will write the test case ID first. This is the section 1. It is done before execution and it is after execution. The purpose for which this program was being written, any preconditions, any set of inputs, expected outputs, what were the post conditions, who has written this code and on which date. Then after execution, the tester will write what was the execution history, what were the results, if there was any failure, what was the reason, any other observations, suggestions, who has run it, executed it, and on which date. Then we must understand the difference between verification and validation. They both come under this phase. So when first will come verification and then we will validate it. Verification means software, the desired software, the proposed designed software, it should conform to its SRS. That means, are we building the product right? If I say this statement, that means I am doing the verification. So I can say it is the process for determining whether my output of one phase of software development, as per it was being defined per SRS, it is conforming to its previous phase. So verification is concerned with the containment of errors. So then comes the validation. Software should do what the user really require. Then and then it can be validated. So we will say ki, are we building the right product? Here the I will focus ki, are we building the product right, means I will focus on the process, and here I will validate the product. It is the process for determining whether a fully developed system for which I have designed the software, it conforms to its requirement specification. The aim of validation is on the final product, whether it is the right product and it is error-free product. So testing is defined, the combination of both, means my process should also be the right, means the product should be rightly built and the right product should be built. So testing, here we will be writing the combination of verification and validation. Then verification is the process of determining whether my output of one phase of development, it conforms to its previous phase, and validation, it is fully developed systems conforms to the SRS document or no. So at the verification, we will do review, simulation, unit testing and integration testing, and at the validation, we will perform the system testing. This is very important. So as I said, verification says ki, are we building it right, and then we are checking ki whether an artifact conforms to its previous version, and it is done by developer. The most important, who is doing the verification, it is done by the developers. There are various static and dynamic activities, as we have discussed in the previous slide, ki through by doing the reviews and by performing the unit testing, we can do the verification. Moving on to the validation, have you built the right thing? That is most important, means validation. So it will check whether the final product is against the specification as they were being mentioned earlier. Then it is done by the tester. Who is doing the validation? Who is validating? Tester. Dynamic activities are being performed to execute the software and to check whether this software is against the requirements, yes or no. So 4 level of testings are there. One is my unit testing, another is integration testing, then system testing, and in the last regression testing. In this lecture we will do till unit testing. In the next series we will be moving on to the next levels. So if I say unit testing, what does this statement mean? Ki I am going to test each module, means I am going to test every unit or every component independently. Who is writing this code? Most obviously it will be done mostly by the developer of the modules, because he or she is aware what he has written and why he has written. Then moving on to the integration and system testing, it tests the system as a whole, and it is often done by a separate testing or QA team. And then acceptance testing, it is validation of the system functions by the customer. So the customers will be accepting that product, whether it is being rightly made or no, it is working against our specification or no. So here the levels of testing, they are being defined. So we will be starting from what users really need. It should be very much clear to us. Then we define the requirements. Then we move on to the design phase. Then we write the code, and then we plan for the testing, and then we think to the maintenance. These are the different phases of the software. Here comes key how we are performing the testing. We will start with the unit testing. Whatever we are coding, we will be performing, we will be testing that code, we will be performing the unit testing. Then integration of all those unit tested codes, that leads to the integration testing. So at the design phase, we do the integration and checking it as per the requirement, that is my system testing. Checking it as per our customer needs, that is my acceptance testing. And here how I am maintaining it, that comes under regression testing. So these are the levels of testing being related with the different phases of my software. I must know and understand this. So these are the overview of activities during system and integration testing. So test suite design, running of those test cases, checking the results to detect the failures, and preparing the failure list. These are oftenly done by the tester. And then debug to locate the errors and correcting those errors that have been found. They are oftenly done by the developers. So starting with the unit testing, during unit testing, different functions or different modules, they are being tested separately in isolations. So if all the modules, they are tested being together as they are being done in the system testing, it will be very difficult to determine in which module error is coming. Then integration testing, after I have checked all the modules independently, now these modules, they are being integrated in steps, and then my integration plan is being again tested whether there is any error coming while doing integration or no. So that is known as integration testing. Then integration test, it evaluates a group of functions or classes and it determines its interface compatibility is there, or is there any unexpected parameter values, or there whether the user is giving wrong interactions, or whether the system is entering into a wrong state, or is there any runtime exception coming. So system test, it will work for the entire system, whether it is running correctly or no. Then comes the smoke test. Here the system test performed daily or several times a week after every build of the software. These are the types of system testing. Based on the types means how it is performing functionally. Functionality test is done, performance test is done. So based on these performances, we can do for alpha testing, we can go for beta testing, and we can accept that means acceptance testing. Beta testing is generally done by the customers. Then performance test means here we are determining ki whether my system or a part of system it is meeting the non-functional requirements or no. That means how much is the response time for my software, whether it is very complex, what is the throughput of my program that I have written, what is the usability, how it is stressful, how can I recover it, what is the configuration of my program. These all are non-functional requirements. They should also be measured while doing the performance testing, that is a part of system testing. Firstly, I have checked the functionality test ki whether it is giving the correct output, and secondly I am going to check for the performance test. So these parameters will be checked for the checking for the performance test, means these parameters they are non-functional requirements. Then comes the user acceptance testing. So user here determines whether the system fulfill its requirement or no, means according to that it will be accepted or rejected the delivered system based on the test results. So who is testing the software? Then the question comes at the programmer end. I am performing the unit testing, means I am testing their on or written their colleagues code. Then at the user end, I am doing the usability and acceptance testing, means different volunteer teams they are generally checking, or different beta versions tester, different beta version programs are being tested, and the test team all types of testing they are performing except the unit and acceptance testing. So they are developing various test plans and testing the program strategically. This is my validation and verification curve, V and V. So firstly I have written the feasibility study, then moving on to the requirement analysis, then comes the design phase, then adds the coding, then testing, and then maintenance. Here the different reviews, different simulations they are being done at the requirement analysis phase, design phase and coding phase. And at the coding and testing phase, the testing is being performed. While I am at the coding, I am performing the unit testing. These all are being tested by the developers, and when I am at the testing phase, testing is being performed by the testers, as we have discussed earlier. So then question comes ki how I am going to generate the test cases. So every test case will be establishing the correct working of my written program. That means it should cover some program elements for certain restricted types of faults. Fault based testing they can be used, means I should test my program as per the given input, means test data will be what input I am giving to that system. Test cases will be as per the input to test the system to know the state of the software and what predicted output will be there from the given input. So it will be a combination of a triplet, I, S and O. I is the data for the input to the system, S is the state of the system at which it will be entered, and O is the expected output. So test the software using a carefully designed test cases, and the collection of all these test cases is known as test suite. There will be positive test cases, there will be negative test cases. The purpose is to ensure that the application gracefully handles the set of invalid and valid and unexpected user inputs, and seeing ki whether my application should not crash under these invalid and unexpected given inputs. Suppose, take the example, if a user types a letter in a numeric field, how my system is handling, how my written program is handling. Is it going into the infinite loop, or is it politely displaying the message ki the data entered is incorrect, please enter a number. So it depends ki how I have done the programming. So it should be handled actually at the unit testing. So as we have said ki test case means a triplet of ISO, set the program in the required state, give the defined input and then observe the output. So this is the sample for doing the recording of test cases and result. For every test case, we will give the number. There will be author, particular, the test purpose, preconditions will be there, the input, expected output, the post conditions, the test execution history, execution date, who has done it, test execution result, ki if it is pass or fail, and if it is being failed, then what is the information and how we have fixed it. Planning, experienced person I should give, test scenario and test case design experience and test qualified persons. Test execution means semi-experienced to inexperienced can also be done. Test result analysis should be done by experienced people. Test tool support again should be done by experienced. We may include some external people in the form of users or industry experts. So why there is a need for designing the test cases? Exhaustive testing of any non-trivial system is very impractical because there is input data, domain is very large, and designing an optimal test suite, that is, I am understanding the size of my program and the chances of errors. So if test cases, they are selected randomly, how the program will be handling it. If test cases, I am writing it in a random manner, it should not impact the effectiveness of the testing. Take one example. Suppose I want to find a maximum of two integers x and y, and I have written a sample program. If x is greater than y, then max will be x, else max is equal to x. It should be, here there is an error, max should be y. So my test suite will be, if I am saying ki x is equal to 3, then y is equal to 2, or reverse, then it should be able to find the bug. A larger test suite case, I have written x32, y43, x5, y1, it should not detect the bug. How my system is handling all these test cases, whether there is a smaller test suite, whether there is a larger test suite, whether there is a random test suite. So my test plan should be, before testing activity starts, a test plan is developed in the form of what features should be tested, which features not to be tested, what should be the strategy, what should be the criteria for suspension, what should be the criteria for stopping, how much effort I should give for testing, and what should be my schedule. So this is the unit testing. After writing a simple code that is complete and then testing it, whether it is doing successfully, it reduces the debugging. So errors, they become very difficult to track down when they have moved on to the upper state. So testing for individual methods, individual classes, individual modules, that is very much easier, and following the supports required for unit testing, that is driver, it simulates the behavior of a function that calls and supplies necessary data to the function being tested. And when I am writing a stub, that means I am here simulating the behavior of a function that has not been yet written. So stubs will be simulated. Here they are only being defined, they are not being written. This is the procedure under test. This is how I am calling the stub. Here my driver was being incorporated. Including a driver means I have given the access to the known local variables. So there are three essential main approaches to design the test cases. One is black box approach, then is white box, that is also known as grey box, and third one is grey box approach. Black box means test cases, they are designed only, they are checking only the functional specification of the software. This is my software, I have given this input, this should be the output, and it is this black box testing, it is known as functional testing. The hardness for black box testing is my data domain is large and the function, it can include multiple parameters. So I should consider the combination of different values of the different parameters. Then white box testing means कि I should have the knowledge of internal structure of the software. It is also called as the structural testing. So here in the black box, there is no knowledge for the code is required. So it is just a brief of black box and white box. The detailed will be covered in the next lecture. Thank you.